Welcome back to episode number 3. I can't believe that it's the 3rd episode already. And this time we have a very special topic, which is very close to my heart as well, which is culture is everything, is it? We've chosen this topic because during our careers, most of us had the opportunity to move around several countries, experience different cultures, and it definitely changes you. I can speak from experience that my move from Germany to the UK definitely changed me as a person, and it helped me grow not only professionally but also personally. And therefore, we have 2 special guests with us today, Bibi and Shradha. And before we come to that, just a quick reminder, who are we? Why are we doing this? So I'm Victoria, and my wonderful co-hosts Anna and Jens are with us today as well.
Hello, hello.
We are all part of Windclusion, and therefore it's really a community where from all our companies from the wind renewable business are joining together to jointly tackle the challenges that we have as an industry. So Anna, Jens, anything to add?
You did
Nothing to
perfect.
add. Thank you.
Thank
Just
you.
maybe, how are you all doing?
Very good.
Great.
Great.
So we have a lot of snow here, so I'm hoping still that we will have the same for Christmas.
Yes, we also just discussed that a bit before, that sometimes it can really surprise you how many snow it is, and then you're, like Victoria was saying, she's a bit jealous because she doesn't have it.
Just come to the UK. We have lots of rain.
Just come to Bangalore. We have lots of sun.
All right. Then yes, Bibi and Shradha, thank you very much for having you today. And we invited you specifically on the topic because you have the great opportunity to work in the same company, and both had the chance to exchange your location of working to each other's place. So we thought it would be a great idea to hear directly from you. How is it basically to work in the same company, share the same company culture, and then being exposed to still something maybe entirely different? Maybe it's not so different. We don't know. But yes, tell us your experience. How was it? And maybe also give a little introduction to how did it come that you changed your location, and maybe what are you doing?
I can start. I was for the first time in Bangalore last year, where we had a team meeting. My manager's here. Shradha is in my team in communication. I'm in marketing. So we had more people from marketing and marketing intelligence that we needed to meet. So I came to Bangalore and I just fell in love with the country. I love the food and I love the people and the clothes and everything. So I was like, wow, I want to go back here. And then I asked my manager, can I work from the Bangalore office for a while, maybe? And he was like, I'm thinking about a reason why I should say no to you, but I can't really find one. So yes, you can actually come. So I decided to relocate just for 3 months, but I think it's 3 months. Now it's almost over. Next week I'm going home again. But it actually has been enough time to really get under the skin of Indian culture and really getting to know my colleagues in another way. Like when you're here for 1 week or 2 weeks and doing the touristy things and spending your nights at a hotel, it's really different. So now I really got to go home with colleagues. They're inviting me like, hey, you want to see how we are celebrating this festival, and are very proud to show that. So that has been really great. And like inviting people home, that's a really big thing in Denmark and in Holland, right? But here it's just like, yeah, no problem, just jump in my car and I'll show you. And so that has been, the friendliness has really been overwhelming, I have to say. They have been so open and wanting to share. And like when everybody knew that I was wanting to travel here in India and see different places, they all were knocking on the door like, I think you should go where I come from because that's the best part of India because of this and this. And then 10 minutes later somebody else comes, no, you have to go to this part. So everybody came with great ideas and noting it down. So yeah, that has been really great to be yeah, welcomed in that way. That made me feel very, very nice. Yeah.
I am so jealous you were managing to be there for the Festival of Lights, and I mean, I would love to see it once in a while, and for sure, food.
It's
It's my
so
dream
beautiful.
food. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the festivals, right, Shradha, is coming one after the other, and then we're celebrating these 9 days of goddessness, and then Diwali, and then this, and it's one after the other, and all the time it's yeah, so that's really nice, and coming home to people where you get gifts, and then people chanting together, and everybody's coming by. It's just overwhelming because we don't do that at all. So and I was just taken as a part of the team, so that was really, really impressive. Yeah. So I had to buy I had to, what a shame. I had to buy the clothes that is coming with the
Oh, you
party.
should definitely show us some pictures as well, Bibi. I'd love to see that.
Yes, I'll do that. So yeah, that was great. I think the Indian women just look so great in their saris, right? And they wear it so elegantly. So that has been really, really great to be a part of that. Yeah.
I can see Bibi is quite overwhelmed. Shouldn't we make this just like a Bibi episode?
No, no, no.
No,
I think
Shradha,
Shradha
you
seeing
also
the
have to say-
contrast between the two
Yeah.
of you and probably how it was for you to come
Yeah.
into the more cold
Copenhagen.
countries.
Yeah.
It would be interesting how you've experienced it. Was it also as warm and welcoming and friendly?
Warm, not really, because I was there earlier this year around April for Wind Europe.
Yeah.
But definitely friendly and very welcoming, and I absolutely fell in love with whichever places I had the opportunity to visit. It was mostly around Copenhagen and where Element Power's headquarters is in Kolding. So in India, it's, of course, the contrast is very much stark. Like you have a lot of people, a lot of cultural stuff going on there. But when I was in Copenhagen, what really was different was like this whole green landscape, and there were hardly people around. And somehow that really felt a lot of, I mean, it felt appealing to me. I used to go for long walks by myself after, of course, all the event stuff was over. And I really appreciated, like, I could hear myself think, I could connect with myself in a way that it's very different. It's a very different feeling altogether. And then when I came back, I told my family members that we should all try and take such trips because, we have the wildlife, we have the hills, we have the trees, and we have all of that in India. And of course, a lot of it makes sense. But when you have the time, you should always do something new, which kind of, enriches you in ways that you wouldn't even realize. And for me, I think it was one of my most well spent 10 days in Copenhagen. The people, they were so warm. They knew, or probably they could understand that I was new to the area. I was asking for help whenever there was something which I couldn't understand. But then it never felt that I was in a new place altogether. And yeah, maybe not as expressive as Bibi at the moment, but I think I did have my moments with all my colleagues, putting rather interacting with people with whom I had just connected on Teams or just saw them online. And then you see these people working in office and they are like, hey, Shradha, so how was the journey? And then you immediately connect with them. Oh, it's like a really beautiful experience that I had there. Yeah.
Did it change any of your relationships, Shradha, with some of your working colleagues as well?
Yes, of course it did. It made us connect in a way which was not just about work. It was more like, what is it that you enjoy doing here? Would you like to come back and do more of it? Would you like to go sightseeing to some of the places which you probably would have read about or not seen about, or not seen altogether? And of course, there are a lot of uh, projects on which we not only collaborate with our employees, but then big industry bodies like WindG, like Wind Europe, and those sort of interactions used to always happen on emails or maybe on Teams. But when you see the teams face to face, and they appreciate that you came all the way from India to be here and be present, I think that really, really improved the working relationship as well.
To me, it's always I'm always getting back from those trips full of energy because I mean, I'm, for example, working remotely, so you do not typically not meet for some weeks at some point your colleagues and so on, but to get together with these teams, and it's a culturally so
it's
to
something
diverse
completely
team.
different.
Yeah,
You really
and you,
get a better understanding.
So
Also,
that's
like the
good.
cultural shock that I had, I actually got already when I came to India. I started with an exhibition that we had there, and when I coordinate the exhibitions in Europe for Wind Europe, like a day before, I go there, check out the booth, and see if everything's fine. And usually everything's fine, and just check and make some pictures, hey, and put it on social media. We're coming, we're ready. Now, coming to India, the day
No, I'm curious.
Okay.
nothing
Timing.
was ready. Nothing. There were like 100 Indian people crawling over the floor, painting, using saws, and it was like a place like nothing, and I couldn't believe that it could be ready the next day. So and my colleagues came to me, breathe, Bibi, take it easy, it's going to be fine, we do it like this, we do it last minute, it's going to be all done in the morning. I was like, oh, I need to get out of here. That was crazy. But then actually when we came the next morning, it was done. There were some small things that could have been better, but they just worked the whole night, and they knew exactly what they were doing. So it looked like chaos when I came there with my Western eyes, right? But there was a kind of a order and structure in it, and so you just that's one of the biggest learning I've had here. Like, you have to trust that the system works in a way anyway. Like people are helping each other, they helping, and but it's still, the end result is going to be great if you just trust it.
Yeah. And I guess it was also brilliant for your own, learning how to deal with being more patient and also trusting the
Definitely.
process.
Yeah.
That must have been fantastic. And then again, the contrast probably between Denmark and India is also so big. But I know when I moved from Germany to the UK, I experienced culture shock as well. And I was not prepared for that because I thought I'm moving from one Western country to another. And then all of a sudden, people would always tell me everything's fine, we don't have any problems. And you would be like, really? That sounds odd. But then you start talking to people and it's almost like a game that you're playing. I've learned quite quickly that I have to ask 3 times how everyone's doing until people really tell me how they're doing. And it's like a cultural aspect to it. You really learn to listen between the lines. You learn then to hear it in their voice, whether I'm fine is the same as I'm fine. So it tells you so much more. But I think at the beginning, you just face it and you're like, oh my goodness, how am I supposed to deal with it? And similar as you explained, nothing will be ready, nothing will be done. We will just be stuck here probably.
It's actually quite funny when you say that about the UK now, because I remember that quite clear. It's ages ago now. In my first cultural training I had with the company, there was the trainer saying basically that the worst 2 cultures working together is Germany and UK. Actually, because he said that the Germans are too polite to be honest, and the British are too honest. No, vice versa. Sorry.
Vice versa,
The British are too polite to be honest, and the Germans are too honest to be polite. And when you put that together, you immediately have like a huge clash potential, at least. And then it's funny to work with that, right?
Exactly. And you get accustomed to that so quickly, because I feel now every time I'm on the phone with my German colleagues and they're going right to the problem, and I'm like, oh my goodness, you haven't asked me about the weather yet. How am I doing? Can we please pause for a second? I really need it now. I need this personal connection. It makes things nicer. And interestingly, you're still, and I think this is what we sometimes underestimate, we kind of assume that these small personal connections are leading to the fact that it takes us longer to solve problems, to deal with issues. But actually what I'm finding is that it's taking exactly the same time. You're just doing it in a different way. You're still coming to the same end result. You're still coming to the same time, but your connections with people are different. Your own experience by going through that are different, and you're more adaptive probably than you have been before if you had exposure to several countries.
Yeah, that's true. And it's also good to notice the kind of the way you are behaving. Like I've also heard being Dutch and living in Denmark, I'm very direct. I'm very open. Like if there's a problem, like, hey, why are we not fixing this? I've done this, you should do this, and let's get a move on. And then people are like, no, we have to talk around it a bit and be friendly and nice and appreciative. And then, it's a whole, and I'm like, let's get to the point. Being very impatient, and that is, I really have to restrain myself sometimes. Okay, take it easy. It's good. yeah.
But that's so interesting on all our jobs, I think. So when I can recall, I've been at least 10 times in China. I've been so frequently to India, and to really, to really learn how different these cultures are. At some point, it needs a little bit more time, a little bit more feeling from yourself to really get closer to people. For example, I had that kind of experience when I was in China, for example. So there was a little bit of time. People need to trust you, and then they really open up. They will invite you to have great dinners, and they are really giving everything to you, right? So India, I always had exactly the same experience like you had, Bibi. But as well, it's always cool to be in the US. It's always cool to come to France. Every countries where we are at are different but welcoming and very warm. We are enjoying good food, different food. So that's
and I'm
for
also
me it's a
thinking
big fun.
that maybe we should in Europe also be more friendly and more open and inviting, and like I really want to do that more and better when we have a new colleague at the office in Denmark, and that's maybe coming from another country, and be more open about it instead of like just giving some tips of where to eat, what the nice restaurants, but doing more than that, and really making them feel welcome. So because it means so much.
Like really learning
as well.
from the countries as well.
I'm pretty sure you maybe probably can really or do you agree on it that once you were at these families, meeting them in person, having a little bit relationship as well to their family, I bet you will have the best and strongest connections ever than you had them
so
before,
amazing.
right?
Yeah. And there were very many things that I up front was thinking about India that turned out to be not true at all, and also the ideas that I had, like for example about arranged marriage. I had some ideas about it, and then when I started to talk to people here, it was not like that at all. It's like it's like, oh yeah, I can actually see the point in that, and that's also working like. And in Europe, the divorce rate is sky high, right? It's about half of all the marriages that are also getting separated again. So it's not that we have the right answer on how to do that. And so it was more like a lot of perspectives that I didn't see up front, because I was thinking about my own, like, oh my God, I would never, and so this has really been an eye opener for me to hear their personal stories about those kind of things. Yeah.
And if I can just add to it, I think what really matters or what really makes a lot of difference is when you work for a global company. It really, really enhances your cultural sensitivity. You would know people from a different location, or you would maybe have pen pals from your childhood days, and you would keep writing to them probably even as an adult. But I think once you are in a company, and it's a global company with teams across the globe working across time zones, I think it really, really pushes one's sensitivity in ways that we all know and we all have experienced it. You
Yeah.
become aware of their boundaries, their preferred time zones and meeting times. Of course, there are so many other nuances that over a period of time you are aware of certain things, and consciously or even unconsciously you would make the decision, okay, this is probably his or her lunchtime and I shouldn't be bothering them around this time by setting up or sending a meeting invite. So those are the sort of what shall I say, sensitivities that develop over a period of time. And I think that makes a lot of difference when you work in a global organization. You start becoming much more respectful of everyone else's uh, time zones, limitations also to a certain extent, and of course the entire culture that they come from.
Definitely. And I also really think that the diversity in the team, I'm not in doubt that is really, really enhancing the results that we have in the team, right? That you have different perspectives about a subject. If you only have, I can agree with my colleagues in Denmark, and we all have the same background and thoughts about an issue. But then if you have a diverse team, then many different perspectives come, and that just gives a much better result. I'm so sure about that. Yeah. And then, of course, the inclusion part is also very important. If you feel that you're being heard and listened to and being respected and you feel welcome, then you feel more open that you can share your ideas, and then it just gets much better.
So out of your experience, maybe Bibi and Shradha, just also because you are working in the same company, same team, what would be your recommendation to like any company or any team internationally to do or enhance to make like better collaboration over different cultures?
I would say that meeting in real life cannot be underestimated, and to do some team building and to go out for dinner together, and that really makes a bond and makes it much easier to work with somebody afterwards. Yeah, I think we've learned that also in the COVID times already, but now we really know, okay, we have to once in a while we have to fly and have to use the money to do that, and then the team can work better afterwards. That is definitely my recommendation.
Yeah, I'll echo Bibi's message. It's basically, and even for the teams, you need to bring some personal element also in your relationships. And of course, professional relationships are very important, but it's always nice when your manager knows you just celebrated your kid's birthday or you just came back from a vacation and you're all set to give your best to the next quarter.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, maybe there are some cultures who are not very open about how they spend their personal time or how they divide their vacations or those sort of details, but knowing at least some or making the effort to know your team and the team members, I think it goes like a really long way through one's professional journey. It definitely brings the team like closer. Of course, we have a problem or we have this project that we need to finish, but hey, how was your morning? Did you make it to that concert, or how was it? And those sort of things, I think those really go a long way in establishing like longer relationships.
And interestingly, Shradha, I think this also goes beyond culture and beyond age and gender, because this is what all of us probably have in common, is that all of us want to feel welcome. We all want to bring our best self to work, or as a whole self, not only the best. Sometimes there are also bad days, but then knowing that actually the other side is caring about you, about what is going on in your personal life, how is this impacting you at work. And as long as we can really just try and be open and not led by our unconscious bias and prejudices, this is how hopefully we will create an inclusive and diverse working environment where everyone feels welcome, independent of culture, and we're helping each other hopefully to overcome the culture shock as well.
Yeah.
And I think that's also really a point. I don't know where I heard that recently, but I think it was a Simon Sinek video where he said that the best thing to prevent that you are going into an organization where people are facing burnouts is when you're able to create the feeling for everyone that they know that they are not alone. Because as soon as you know you're not alone with the challenges and you're not alone with what you're facing, then you know psychologically that you will manage it. So, and I think that's a very good point also over our discussion. Yes.
Sounds like a good point for our next episode as well, Anna. Psychological safety.
Yes.
It's like it relates a little bit to the fear. For example, if you are will get a baby, yeah, you sometimes think, will we manage it? How difficult will it be? And then your parents come and
Will I
tell
break
you,
it?
hey,
Yes.
look, there have been millions of families dealing with it already. This is the same, I think. It's on another base, right? But it's the same kind of thing. Then afterwards you feel like, okay, yeah, she's right. Or even the driver's license. I remember how many times I was told, hey, Jens, look, billions of people are driving their cars. So why are you afraid of because of the license? So you will manage. So and that's true, and it helped a lot. You are right.
Yeah.
I am one of those people. I am one of those people who's scared of driving. I do have a license, but I'm shit scared to take the car out.
But Shradha, I totally understand that regarding India. I mean, I can say a lot of positive things about India, but if we talk about the traffic, that is just completely crazy, right? It's just chaos. Everybody's just going. And I'm like, there's lanes. Why don't we stick to the lanes, please? But nobody does that, and it's honking, and it's chaos, and it's But that's also where the trust comes in. You have to trust. Okay, I'm going to survive this ride. It's going to be fine.
And that's where we give you the mantra, Bibi, breathe.
But yeah,
Yes.
it's actually, I was traveling with a colleague from India last week, and we were like taking a longer road trip through Germany to Berlin, actually from Hamburg. And then at some point, the proximity sensor of the car was making a beep. And he was, I don't know actually if it was a joke or if he made it serious, but basically he said, well, the proximity sensors are not available in India because they would just go off all the time.
It would. Yeah.
It's true.
You can just touch the other cars, like if I'm in an auto, I can just shake hands with the other driver. And it's just like, they're so close. Like personal space also is not, it's not a thing.
But it's exciting. It works, right? I mean, it
Yes.
works. They are using the horn, and then everybody's taking care of each other, and it works. I mean, finally, for sure, we would probably being a German, probably be too afraid of the car, right? But I mean, as I said, it works. I would freak out as well. I can relate to you what you said, Bibi.
That's a bit coming back to what Bibi said about the exhibition preparation, right? Just because it's done in a way you are not used to doesn't mean that it doesn't work, right? And that's probably something we have to remind ourselves from time to time that yes, you are used to it, like that, doing it like this. Just trust the people. They have also done that several times, right?
But as well, in the same time, I've witnessed situations even in Germany or in France already, which were like the same, Bibi, right? So there was at some point in Düsseldorf, we didn't have electricity, so nobody could do anything. So and then finally we ended up at I don't know which time of the night, and it was finalized, and it became wild like hell. It was, everywhere forklifts and everything. Like, okay, come on, I need to make sure that I'm safe, right? But they manage. Everybody is managing.
You have
It's
to look
crazy.
like this because in our company, safety is first, and
Same here.
it's really, you have to say stop if you feel like something's unsafe. But I could not say that at the exhibition site, because then I had to stop, please. Everybody stop, because there's like crazy things going on. And there's a different way of like what you can complain about. Like I think also in Denmark, it's small things you can complain about, but here it's like, come on. Like I was staying in a hotel, and every hour the lights turned on in my room. Like, so I had to go out my bed and then shut them down again. Okay, so I was totally like, oh my God, you know what happened tonight? And people were like, oh yeah, that happens sometimes.
Okay.
Aren't you gonna fix this or give me another room or whatever? And they were like, okay, if you want another room. But it was not a big deal for them. Like it was a huge deal for me. But yeah, so okay, stay calm. This is okay. Yeah, there's a different level there.
I mean, we were hitting exactly the right time for this episode, right? With you being in India, so that was
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
point.
Yes.
Yes.
It
very
sealed
good.
the deal.
And
Yeah.
and I think we can continue for hours here,
Yeah.
exchanging different stories and experiences. I think we should not extend it more than our listeners. We promised at some point to our listeners that we will keep it in range to not spend too much time on the listening. So any closure words you would like to share? And thanks a lot for having you today. Really appreciate that you had the time.
If you are considering going abroad for a while, do it. You will learn so much. You will work better with your colleagues. You will grow personally. You will just benefit on every level. That is what I want to share.
Thank you very much for joining us here. This was a very exciting, again, a very exciting exchange. You all
Very
know
good.
we have them at
I
some point
really
in the
loved
other meetings.
this. Yeah. That was a very energizing one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very
Thank
good.
you for having us.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for
very
joining.
much.
Yep.
Then, dear listeners, we also hope that you enjoyed the episode today. Tune in for the next one, and we promise that we will try to do everything to be a bit more consistent in the releases. All right. See you next
Thank
time.
you.
Bye-bye.
Have a nice
Bye-bye.
day.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.